Real quick, guys, before we get into the video, I wanted to let you in on some exciting news. The NMD TV brand is expanding, and I'm adding a new channel to the network. It will be a highlights and reaction channel where I look at all the top high school prospects when they commit, if they decommit, and I look at their highlights and I give you my live reaction to them. If that's something you're interested in, the link will be in the description, the first link in the description and in the comment section. But I'm out. Enjoy this video. Recruiting is the lifeblood of any college football program. It's one of the most important things about having a good program, about building a good program, and about being a good head coach or a good position coach when it comes to college football. I love college football because of the recruiting. I love the fact that, National Signing Day, not a big fan of early signing day, but it is what it is. But really, to me, National Signing Day has always been like Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Just following a prospect, where's he going to go, putting out your predictions, and then that day he chooses where he wants to go. Well, often I think we look at it from a fan's point of view. So I'm looking at it like, hey, this kid should come to my school because of this, blah, blah, blah. And then you also can look at it from a program's point of view or a coach's point of view. But I think rarely do people look at it from a parent's point of view. I rarely hear parents speaking on the recruiting game. What is it like on social media? What do you feel like when you see people attacking your kid? What part of it do you play in it? And how do you not let people take advantage of your kid? And just the fact that you've raised this kid and now you're basically handing him over to a program for the next 4 years in his life. And I think that's something that needs to be talked about more. So what I did is I reached out to Joe Williams, son of Quentin Williams, Miami Hurricane player who just got recruited in this latest 2020 class. Wasn't part of the early enrollee crew, but he'll be on campus in the fall. So I got to pick his brain and figure out what is recruiting like from a parent's point of view. We talk about a lot, even about him being in the message boards. Yes, parents are in these message boards and hear fans critique his son. Man, this is a good interview, and I hope you guys like it. You're listening to Canes After Dark. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Oh, man, I'm Joe Williams, man, father of Quentin Williams, 2020 recruit that's coming in June, hopefully coming in June. Just out here in Charlotte, North Carolina, man.
So I think with Quentin is one of my favorite recruits. I've actually talked to him, and I've got him. I actually did an interview with him too. But I think a lot of times when we look at recruiting, you got the fan base, and then you got the program. Rarely do I hear people talk about the parents' point of view. So that's why I got you on today, and that's kind of the information that I want to give to the people. But of course, we're going through the coronavirus situation. So just how has the coronavirus affected you?
Just having to stay at home, working from home, with the kids at home. I have a 6-year-old here with us as well, so it's a little difficult keeping her occupied. And workouts for Quentin, having to come up with different ways to get him some work. But that's about it. On the other hand, it's a little cool just being here with my family all day, being able to talk and have fun with them all day. So that's the bright side of it for me.
Right. So are you on total lockdown, or are you, there's I think there's two type of people at this time. There's the people that are like, hey, I'm going to go out and just live my life. And then there's some people who, like me, I'm just like, I'm not leaving unless I got to.
Well, no, I get out if I need to, right? I'm not just out. If we need to get out, or if I need to get out, I'll get out and go to the store or whatever. Charlotte is not on lockdown yet. I'm hearing, like, I have family in New York. Most of my family's in New York, and they're locked down. And I know starting this week, some other cities are going to be locked down. We're not on lockdown. most stores, restaurants, or whatever are open until like 5, and then after 5 they're locked down. But most restaurants are doing like takeout, delivery, things like that. But I get out when I need to, though.
So will this whole situation will it affect Quentin? Like, is this high school shut down? Will he get the walk at graduation? Have they informed y'all on those type of decisions?
Yeah, that's what we don't know yet. As of now, it looks like they're doing, or it sounds like they're doing it by like a couple week basis.
Okay.
So for as of now, they're shut down at least until the 1st of April, and then we'll get another update. I'm pretty sure they'll shut down until the end of the year, and I know prom has been canceled.
Mhm.
I know I've heard other schools saying graduation is canceled for now. So,
Man, so how are you keeping Quentin in shape, man? Because like you said, if we have football, which we'll talk about that. But how are you keeping him shape? How are you keeping him in shape? Because I know for me, I'm trying to stay out of the kitchen because it's just so tempting with you being at home.
it is. It is. Him and a couple other seniors that graduated or in his class, they'll work out. They'll go to a field. They've shut down the school. They used to work out at the field at Mallard Creek High School, but they've shut down the whole facility at Mallard Creek. So there are, a couple of open fields around. They'll go to and get work in every day, as long as the weather's cooperating. As far as eating, we don't we've never been, big eaters. So, we're doing that like normal. There's no change in that part of it.
All right, so we got Joe Williams on the line, father of Quentin Williams, Miami, soon to be enrollee if we can get this thing
Hopefully.
going. So Joe, tell us about from your perspective, just about raising a son in the recruiting landscape. Let me just ask you a question. When did you always know that Quentin was going to be able to play football at the next level, or were you kind of hopeful? I know Mallard Creek, the Creek boys, they got a good program there. So kind of start right there with when did you think that, hey, he's going to be getting recruited, he's going to be able to play at the next level?
Yeah. We moved from Kansas City to Charlotte. Quentin was in what, 8th grade, I believe. No, 7th grade. I'm sorry. He was in 7th grade. We moved from Kansas City to Charlotte. Um, for whatever, some personal reasons, me and my wife just wanted to get out the Midwest. But I knew, just knowing football and following football my whole life, that this area, the Southeast, was a hotbed for football. That's where football. I'm from New York, but I know football is the Southeast, really, this area. So coming to Charlotte, I knew that he would have a better opportunity to get recruited and get noticed. We did not know we were moving into the Mallard Creek zoned area. We didn't know about Mallard Creek at all. Like I didn't know that that was like the powerhouse in this area. So when he went to school at Ridge Road Middle School, I did notice that, like, the feeder school for Mallard Creek was good. Like, his 8th grade year, they didn't allow a single point to any other school. Like, and it was crazy. They were just dominating. So at that point, I figured, wow, Mallard Creek, this must be a great football school to go to. And then as he began to grow, just physically grow, I was like, oh, okay, this might be something. So we may need to take this a little bit more seriously.
Okay, so when you decided to take it seriously,
Mhm.
what did you do as a father to kind of lead him through the way? By means, did you say, okay, we're gonna go get you this coach, or we're gonna get you this gym membership, or we're going to make sure this, what kind of things did you do as a father to make sure he succeeded once it seemed that way?
Oh man, I actually reached out. I reached out to friend. Like I said, I've been playing football. I played college football on a smaller level. I played at a D2 school. But I've over the years developed relationships with coaches and just parents who have gone through the recruiting process as well. So I reached out to a lot of people that I knew and I know about the process, how to go about it, because you start to get calls from recruiting services who want you to pay to help your kid get recruited. And, I was getting those calls every day.
So Joe, I hate to interrupt you, but when you say recruiting service, do you mean like 247 rivals?
No, like, gosh, what's the name of these people? I can't remember the name, but not those, not those services, but
Okay.
it's like people who say they can get your son recruited, like upload a video, upload a profile, we'll get this information to all the schools. Those types of services. I can't remember the actual names of them, but you have to basically pay to have your kid recruited. So, and a lot of, parents fall for that, and I learned early that you don't need that. Coaches will find the talent when they want to find the talent. So, that was a big thing, just reaching out to people who have been through the process and helped me through it.
So what would you say was the biggest advice, when you reached out to the
Mhm.
people who decided to help you, what was the biggest advice or the most important advice that they gave you?
Take your time and do your due diligence, like research schools, research coaches, and take your time. Like it'll come. It'll come. Like if he keeps working and keeps working in school and keeps working on the field, the offers and everything will come.
What do you think about the star system?
um, um, it's entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's entertainment. It's something that makes the kids feel good. It really, to me, it really doesn't mean anything. I mean, you can definitely identify um, the, I guess, the 5-star kids. You can see those kids just like, let's say a Trenton Simpson from Mallard Creek.
Right.
You know,
Clemson commit.
yeah, he's been, he was definitely, you can see you can see that in him. But there's so many other kids that are good, like really good. So if you're saying that, somebody like Ed Reed is a 2-star, you just don't know. It's hard to give somebody, base somebody's talent off stars. You can't base the heart and the will of a person with stars. So it's good entertainment.
I agree with you. I agree with the entertainment part. I think my biggest gripe on the whole star system is, and this is just my opinion, I feel like the people who give out the stars, I see a lot of evaluation during camps rather
Yes.
than during the season. And my
Yeah.
thing is, I want to know what a guy can do on the field, not in shorts
Shorts and t-shirts,
and
man.
shorts and t-shirts. And I agree that those camps can get kids recognized. You can see a kid and say, "Oh, he has great size and this and that," and then they can go watch the tape and find them. But a lot of times I'll see stars go up or down after these camps. So
Yeah.
did Quentin
Yep.
go to any camps? And what are your thoughts on these different type of camps out there?
Yeah, so being at the camps, it seems just we went to a lot of camps actually. It seems that the camps focus on those players that have been deemed as 4 or 5-star guys. So it's like a big focus on those guys, and everyone else is like, kind of in the backdrop of it, in the background. So there's a lot of kids at each of these camps, even the invited camps, like the Nike camps that you get invited to, or the Under Armour camps that you get invited to. It's still a lot of kids. So it's hard for certain kids or kids to get noticed at those camps. And it seems like they're mostly geared towards the kids that are already known at those camps. So I think it's a good opportunity for the kids to get work in, go compete against the best of the best. That's a great opportunity for them on that aspect. But I think it's just hard because there's a lot of kids. So I don't see, it's hard to get, noticed at those camps, to me.
Okay, so take me back to when did you guys first get in contact with Miami?
Man, where were we? We were at Tennessee. That's funny. We were in Tennessee. My daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, had a volleyball camp in Tennessee, or a volleyball tournament in Tennessee. So we were in Knoxville, and I spoke to a friend that I went to high school with. He has a gym in New York, and he was in contact with my guy, Coach Will Nellums. He's from Florida. He has Coach Cooney is actually his like cousin or nephew, and I shot Quentin's film to Coach Nellums. Coach Nellums sent it to Coach Cooney, and immediately Coach Cooney called me while we were in Tennessee, and that's how the ball got rolling.
Okay, so I mean, I know you probably can't tell everything, but basically, Coach Cooney calls you and he says what generally, or I don't know if you can give details or what.
Yeah, we're signed now, so we could talk about it.
Okay.
No, he was just saying he liked the film. Who's Quentin being recruited by, and I told him everything. And at that point, Coach Cool was the D-line coach.
Okay.
He hadn't left yet. So he sent it to Coach Cool. Within the week, I think Coach Cool reached out to us. Coach Cool and Coach Packey reached out to us, to Quentin and I, just gauging interest and things like that.
So when you're getting these calls, are you the type to say, hey, Quentin, I want you to focus on football and then I'll filter it, because I feel like it's almost important to have either you or somebody you trust, because I think kids can get taken advantage of. So are you taking these calls and then relaying them to Quentin, or are you on the phone? Are y'all doing three-way? How is that communication?
I'm definitely the buffer.
Okay.
Definitely. So, yeah, so I'm definitely the buffer. I talk to him, discuss it with him, and, gauge his interest and see what he wants to do. And then I'll let him talk, and I'll be there, or, yeah, like you said, three-way or something like that. But yes, I'm definitely the buffer.
So Coach Cool decides to go to the NFL. We get in Coach Stroud. When that happens, do they reach out to you and say, "Listen, we got a new D-line coach in"? How does that communication with the recruit's family happen?
That did well. Coach Stroud reached out as soon as he got there. He reached out and let us know that he's here now. He's gonna continue to recruit Quentin. Offer was still on the table. He's gonna come out and see him, talk to him, watch him practice, and develop a new relationship with him. So
And
yeah.
okay, so what made you comfortable with Miami? I mean, I think people forget that, you're basically, handing your kid over to this school to be there 4 years. You know,
Right.
what made you comfortable with this coaching staff or with the recruiters to choose Miami?
Once again, just talking and finding out from people, players. What was crazy is DJ Dallas actually reached out to Quentin early. Like he was one of the first players, I'm sorry, to reach out to Quentin immediately. Like, 2019 was kind of a crazy year. It was a disappointing year, and he was reaching out to Quentin during the season, like, yo, just stick with us, stick with us, stick with us. And on recruitment visits, I talked to Dallas Crawford a lot,
Yeah.
and he kept it. All I asked from any coaching staff is to keep it real with me. Let me know what's going on, keep it 100, and we could talk. And I don't take anything personally, and Dallas Crawford always did that. So that made me comfortable.
I'll tell you one thing, DJ Dallas, man, he puts on for the university because in his recruiting class, he did the same thing. And I think that's a pretty dope story to hear that even now, even though he's a player, probably if you poll most of the fan base, he's probably one of the favorite players in the last 10 years or so, DJ Dallas. And he's still putting on, he's still recruiting. So I think that's dope. So you say Coach Dallas Crawford, he shoots you straight. Who would you say played the most important part in the recruiting of your son and to you?
It would probably be Packy and Stroud.
Okay.
Packy and Stroud. Packy was in the most contact, and then I think when Stroud came out here and visited Q, I think that locked it up. I don't think Q ever wavered seriously. Like he was looking around, but I think really that was just to look around. I don't think he really wavered. I used to ask him all the time, like, yo, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Like after the Duke game, we went to the Duke game. I was like, hey, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? He was like, yeah. There's no wavering. So I think Stroud and Packy, definitely.
So I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to talk to you about last season. So Quinn's committed, and then you as a father, you're watching the school that your team going to, just go through a rough time. I mean, the Duke game, the just the whole season was bad. So you're at the Duke game. How tell us about being at that game through that moment because at that time I was just like I don't even know how to I can't even describe it myself and I wasn't there. So how was it you being there and you're watching the school that your son's going to basically get embarrassed?
Well, I don't know if I'm a fan. Period. So I've been a Miami fan since I was, I don't know, 8. So I'm a fan. So it was doubly frustrating for me. Um, but at the Duke game, we were sitting in the rain, just like looking like, oh gosh. And we started leaving at the end. I think we were down, and the last drive we walked to the top, and we just stood there at the top in the rain, freezing, just watching, hoping like, man, we're gonna come back, hoping, and just didn't happen. So that's when I turned to him. I'm like, hey, you sure this is what you wanna This is what you want to do? Because at that point, to me, it just seemed like nothing was getting better. Like,
Right.
it just seemed like, gosh, like, there's no, with a new staff and everything, you just want to see improvement. And it just didn't seem like that was happening. So, yeah, I was definitely frustrated. He was frustrated. But, like I said, no wavering.
And I think that's two takeaways from that is I think that's dope that, you look over, you ask Quentin, hey, you sure this is what you want to do? And like you said, he doesn't waver. And secondly, I think when you look at last season and you make a good point, to me, it's not it's not what you do, it's how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that you lose these games, it's how we were losing games.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're in the rain. Miami's losing to Duke. Your son never wavers. In your mind, you're thinking, hey, I just want to see improvement. Then Louisiana Tech happens. and how do you feel? How do you feel after that?
Oh man. Yeah, very, very frustrated. But you know what? Actually, at that point, I was like, okay, let's see what happens in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
Like what Coach Diaz does in the off season. And I was hearing mumblings, but that was important to me because I think everybody, like, people were jumping down Coach Diaz's throat, but it was his first year. Like I can never just dump somebody after the first year. Like give him a chance to do what he does and assess and make the changes. And as we can see in the off season, he did a incredible job of getting the right things in place, I think, to be successful moving forward. So I was encouraged actually after FIU. I was frustrated, but then I started hearing things and I was immediately encouraged.
So during this rough time, is there communication with the staff? Like, are they saying, hey, because I've heard Manny Diaz say this a lot. This class can be the class that turns it around. They can be the solution. Mm-hmm. So is he reaching out to you guys to say, hey, I know things are looking tough right now, but we think when we get Quentin in here, he's going to be part of the class that gets it. Is there reassurance happening from the staff to the guys that are committed?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we hear from it's the same as Stroud and Packey. Yeah, we hear from them all the time, and it's definitely a reassurance with the kids though. Like Quentin talks to Chance a lot, and they just discuss. And I hate the fact that I don't like the fact that Quentin didn't graduate early and get there because I feel like a bond, that bond that the most of the class has formed, they formed it in the spring and, being able to get that work in, and Quentin wasn't able to be there. So I hate the fact that I wish if I had to do anything different, I wish I would have, got him more prepared to graduate early and get there early, but that didn't happen. But yeah, it's definitely reassurance from the staff and the kids. So.
Okay, so let's talk about something that I think has changed the game now, and that's social media.
Oh, definitely.
So people can put their opinions out. I'm very, very passionate on Twitter, especially when I'm live tweeting. Right. But to me, I have a rule. I have a personal rule. I never tweet at a player, especially a recruit or anything like that. And then I never say anything that I can't back up,
right.
with stats or with statistics,
Right.
And in my opinion, most of the time when people are tweeting, there's a lot of people that are just jerks, but there's a lot of people that, this fan base is you're a fan. It's passionate.
Definitely.
So they love the team. So my question to you is, What do you think about Twitter live tweeting and things like that?
It just has to be done responsibly, man. It's a great tool. Like social media is fantastic. It does wonders for businesses, for recruits, coaches, schools. You know, it's a great tool. Just as adults, we have to be more responsible in how we and what we put on social media because it can't be erased, right? It's written in ink, can't be erased. So um, we just have to be more responsible and realize that if we're talking to kids, like we're talking to kids, these kids are 16, 17, 15, 14 in some cases, they're going to say dumb things. I've actually seen kids going back and forth with adults, like 15-year-old kids have baited 30-year-old adults into a Twitter beef and war. And I'm like, come on, we as the adults, we have to be more responsible in what we put on out there, and we have to let our kids know to be more responsible and teach them how to be more responsible in what they put on Twitter too.
So what are you telling Quentin? Because he's gonna be in the limelight. When he comes to Miami, he gets on that field. There may be some times when people say, "Hey, we need to get Quentin out there. He's not performing," or
Mm-hmm.
there's gonna be ups and downs. What are you kind of telling him on that, how to handle that? Because I see some players that you tweet them, they're gonna tweet right back at you. They coming at you. Then I see some people who don't use it, who they're not worried about it. What are you telling Quentin about the power, the positives and negatives of social media?
Yeah, well, as of now, he doesn't really use it. I mean, he looks, but he doesn't really use it, which is fine with me. I try to explain that it can be a positive tool to use, but he doesn't really use it. But as far as the criticism and things like that, he knows it's gonna happen. He definitely knows. I tell him there's no I'm not an excuse maker. So I teach him the same thing, man. If you play poorly, you play poorly. So get ready to hear it. If you play good, you play good. You get ready to hear that. So you're gonna hear it both ways. If you play poorly, I mean that's what's you're gonna hear it. So don't play poorly. If you don't want to hear it or you don't want to see it, hey, perform, get busy. Then you'll hear nothing but positive things. So he definitely knows what to expect.
So how is it? And you're very active on Twitter. How is it from a father's point of view? I mean, I guess you haven't experienced this, but let me ask you: how will you handle if people are throwing criticism at Quentin? As a father.
You know what? It
are you gonna tweet him? You going at him? How you gonna?
It happened. It happened already, man. Like I got caught up one time on a message board. I think it was on like Kane, one of the message boards. I can't even remember. But after his first game that was on ESPN, he started out very slowly. He started out, I don't know if people watched it or whatever, but he started out poorly. And then the second half, he came alive and started doing good things or whatever. But there were people tweeting, I mean, not tweeting, but on the message boards, like, I don't see what it is about Quentin. He's this, that. And I responded. And I caught, like, I was like, after I engaged in that, I was like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? And I shut my stuff down after that. Like, I shut my profile down and everything. So, yeah, I got caught up. So, it won't happen again.
I tell you one thing. I'm talking about Twitter. Those message boards are 10 times worse.
Yeah. Man.
So what's crazy is I want y'all to listen to this. So we have parents commits in these message boards.
Yeah, man.
So how long were you in the message boards before you finally said, I'm done, I'm going to just shut it down because there's no You know, you don't even want to hear that stuff.
Well, um, what's crazy is his head coach, Coach Paul Mary. So Coach P, coached in Florida before coming to Mallard Creek. I can't remember what school, but he had a lot of contacts down there. And somebody in the message that I was responding to reached out to Coach P. Like, yo, Quentin's dad is going in on the message boards, blah, blah, blah. Coach P reached out to me, like, yo, look how you sounding, and I read it. I'm like, man, yeah, you're right. He's like, don't get caught up in that because they're gonna get you, they're gonna pull you in. And he was right. It happened, and I shut it down right after that. So.
Right. I mean, it's just a crazy time. I mean, even nowadays, I mean, you look at the best of the best football players, there's always going to be a group out there that has some negative to say about them. So I really think there's no way to get away from it. But at the same time, kind of like you said, there's a lot of positives in it, but a lot of negatives. Let me ask you this: is there anything you didn't like about the recruiting process as a father?
Um. Nah, I mean, no, I understand it. I understand it from the school's point of view, and I understand that at the end of the day, it's business. So there's nothing that um, I'm just I'm just against, just totally against. No, I mean everything. I can't say this for every other parent, but everything for us kind of went smoothly. Like really, it wasn't really many hiccups or anything like that. So no, nothing.
Okay. Just or let me ask you this: what was your favorite moment? Getting to visit Miami and everything.
Oh man, you already know, man. Just going in and seeing the trophies, um, just the whole facility and the campus. And when people say that Miami's facilities are like nowhere near everyone else's facilities, like we visited. So where did we go? We went to Tennessee. We went to West Virginia. We went to NC State. We went to Virginia, Chapel Hill, UNC Charlotte. Wow. Yeah, we've been to a lot of different places, and those places are bigger, as far as just huge schools. A lot of people don't know that Miami's a private school, and the facilities at Miami are like just fine to me. Like they don't have everything that the huge mega schools have. They really don't. But like Quentin loved the intimacy of the school. Like the campus is beautiful. The area is beautiful. The new the indoor facility is nice. It's beautiful, and you know that was my favorite part of it. Just looking at and seeing it for myself.
Okay. Okay. It something else that has hit the college landscape is the transfer portal. Do you have any opinion thoughts on that? Because I see a lot of parents of athletes they usually have a strong opinion on the transfer portal.
Mhm. No, I don't. I don't. I think it can get out of control. I really do. Because I get when people say people are running away from competition. So I'm not starting this year. I'm gonna hit the transfer portal. Or I get that. I understand that. If there's a way to make it a little better, I can see that there there can be some improvements made. Um, but I'm not against it. No, if you if an athlete feels like he has a better opportunity somewhere else, I'm not against it, because coaches get to leave whenever they want to leave. So that's the point I'm at. Like, coaches leave right after recruiting is over. Like, right after signing day, coaches leave.
Right.
So an athlete should be able to do the same thing.
Yep, same thing that happened at Michigan State this year.
Yep, definitely.
You know, you got the recruiting class all set. And Mark, I forget his name, but he ended up dipping out on the boys.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So what are you telling the kid? Like, I'm sure you're not telling the kids that I'm leaving as soon as you sign. I'm sure coaches are not saying that.
So. Yeah. So it's, I mean, basically, in that situation, you know, no one really knows what's going on, but they got a lot of legal stuff going on. And what the thing is after he decided to leave, he had a big bonus. So he gets the bonus and then he leaves. But the thing about it is, what is he telling the kid? I mean, like you said, I don't think he's telling the parents or the kids that, hey, I'm going to leave you in the hands of somebody who I don't even know.
Right. And, you know, and I don't really knock the coach. If you're leaving to do something better, you know, a better opportunity for you and your family, that's fine. But a child or a kid is doing the same thing in his eyes. He's leaving for a better opportunity to play and, you know, a better situation. So, you know, you can't get mad at the kid for doing the same thing that the coaches do.
Okay, man. Joe, just a couple more questions here. I think here, this is just my opinion. Let me know if I'm overreacting, but and I'm not a doctor. I don't know everything there is about the coronavirus, but I'm seeing videos, people still out, people at the beaches, people kicking it, people acting like it, and people in California playing full court basketball with people there. Honestly, as days goes on and I keep seeing these videos, I start to think that we may not have football this fall, or football may start a little bit late.
Yeah.
So have you thought about that? And have you thought about, you know, what happens, you know, what's your plan with your family if they shut down the football season or if it gets postponed or anything like that?
I haven't really thought about that. I'm trying to stay positive. You just put that in my head. Now I'm all messed up, man. Now I'm sad about it. But I'm trying to stay positive, man. I'm you know, hoping. Coaches really don't have any updates right now about what's going to happen. So I'm hoping we can move forward as planned. Hopefully he can get in June. And I know they won't be able to start practice until, what did we say, August 1st, I believe. So I'm just hoping that everyone does what they need to do and we can just move on as planned, hopefully. So no, we haven't come up with any contingency plans or anything.
Okay, it's still early, but
yeah. I mean, I don't like to deal with hypotheticals anyway. You know, I'll wait and see when I get told the concrete, you know, what's going on, then we'll make it happen.
Okay. All right, Joe. So let's say there's a father of a recruit listening to this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give them?
Take your time. You know, it's gonna happen for you. And number one, we have to be realistic. Some people think their kid is a 5-star and they're not that. You know, so we have to be realistic, man. If your kid is getting D2 looks, D3 looks, you know, then that's what it is. Like, we have to be realistic in the talent level. You know, we can't look through the father glasses or the mother glasses. We have to take those off and deal with, you know, exactly what it is, the realness of the situation. So just take your time, and it is a long process, and we just have to take our time and be realistic about it, and everything will fall into place.
Okay, all right. And my last thing, Joe, I wanted to go back to the message board situation. So you end up shutting down your message boards because of a disagreement. Now, does things that the fan base says, Twitter message boards, do they kind of turn recruits off? Do they kind of make you as a father think, I don't know if I want my kid playing at this school with these crazy people?
Um, no, no, not for me, because I understand it, and it's every school.
Right.
I've seen it for every school. People say Miami fans are crazy, whatever. Every school's fans are the same way. Um, I saw Alabama people were calling for Nick Saban's job after last year. That's bananas right there. That's crazy. Um, so no, it doesn't turn me off, because it's the fans. So if it was like the staff
Okay.
acting like that or something like that, then that's something different. But nah, it's fans, man. So fans are passionate, and especially Miami, we've seen such good things, and lately we haven't seen such good things. So it's hard, and we just want the program to get to where it should be. So
Right, right. And I think no fan base is perfect on these social media. Of course, there's a lot of bad apples, there's a lot of jerks, but I do think I'll debate anybody on this. I think Miami, the fan base loves its players more than any other fan base.
mhm.
And I'll go. We still, years down the line, I'll still talk about how good Greg Cooper is. I'll still talk about how good Calais Campbell is, and even the players that may have not made the hugest impact in the NFL, we still love those guys. So, Joe, man, I appreciate you coming on. I definitely appreciate your time, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. I appreciate you giving me a call and speaking with me, and I appreciate the podcast too.
Hey, no, hey, real quick, go ahead and tell people where they can find you on Twitter, and y'all show my man Joe some love.
Twitter. What am I on Twitter? Joe at Joe Skilliams on Twitter. Yeah, just shout me out, man. They can find me. I'm all over. So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we all showing positivity, showing love, man. Let's look out for one another. So stay inside too,
All right, and y'all heard the man. Stay inside for real, because we want this
so we can
football
get this
season to
season
happen.
started, man.
we got this recruiting class. We got De'Aaron King. We got Rhett Lashley. Come on
Yeah,
now, stop playing with us.
yes, man.
Hey man, I want to say, Joe. One, I want to say I'm excited to see what Quentin can do at Miami, and two, one of my goals in life is to be the best father I can be. I don't have a kid yet, but that is one of my biggest goals. And it seems like you're really good at it. And I just wanted to commend you on that and commend you on raising a good young man, because I've spoken with Quentin. So I just want to commend you on raising a good young man in this crazy world we live in, man. So I definitely wanted to give you props on that as well before we go.
Thank you, brother, and I appreciate it, man. And